I don't see any agendas out there for this. There's no agendas out there for this meeting. That's all right, you have one. It's the important thing.
Yes, just waiting for. Okay, good afternoon. It is 5:16, and it's time to start the Community Development Committee meeting for Monday, November the 7th, 2022. Roll call, please. Present.
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 Thank you. May I have a motion to approve the minutes from the October 3rd, 2022 regular meeting? Alderman Hayes, seconded by Alderman Turner.
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Audience time. Is there anybody in the audience that would like to talk about anything that's on the agenda for the Community Development Committee? Please state your name.
Jody Luca.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
Thank you for the opportunity to come and speak. I'm here in regards to item number G on the agenda. I was in front of Planning and Zoning last week, I believe it was.
Okay.
And to try and summarize what it is that I'm here in regards to. So this is the location of 4555 West York House Road is seeking a conditional use permit for a multi-purpose entertainment area. This is the same building as the former Lotus Hotel, which is now becoming an assisted living facility. So currently there is the assisted living facility is under renovation, soon to open, I would assume, because I saw the hiring signs are out now. It's also the golf course that's there, and then Encore Entertainment Center has, they're the ones that oversee York House Tavern and Table, the restaurant, as well as several entertainment centers for private use, private events, weddings, banquets of that nature. So Encore Events is seeking a multi-purpose entertainment permission to be able to utilize that space for events open to the public. At the last planning and zoning meeting, what they did it's coming to the board as without a favorable recommendation. Some of the conditions that were stated were to limit the time of that they have to close on the weekends by midnight and then on the weekdays by 10 o'clock. My concern is that currently, yes, there are private events that go on there. Private events typically include an RSVP list. There's accountability for the person who's hosting the event. Now what's happening is they're seeking an opportunity to open up this space to the public and allow it to go late at night. My concern is that it is in the same building as an assisted living facility. Had this been a hotel still, I don't think I would have much ground to stand here, but I do believe that that is not the betterment of the well-being of the community as a whole for Mid-Lane. Nevertheless, the seniors, a more vulnerable community that's now going to be living in that same exact building as what they're seeking to have just the opportunity to open up to the public. What they've listed on the application is a variety of uses such as kid events and also adult entertainment. I'm not sure how they describe that or what they mean. They've said for now what it is just hoping to have some concerts. But my concern is that without a limited parameter, limited set of uses, that ultimately right now they could say what they want to do, but as you'll be able to see from the minutes of the last planning and zoning meeting, specifically from the petitioner, they did state that they're just trying to get more money. So they do have gaming, so it can be perceived as sustainable in regards to, they have gaming in the restaurant right now. My concern is that the gaming along with events that mirror a nightclub are what provide an unfavorable situation to the community.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comment.
Thanks for coming.
Yep.
May I have a motion to seat Alderman Florian?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Okay, now we just went through audience time. We have no old business. We will move on to new business. Item A is a resolution approving the purchase of the property located at 139 Belvedere, Waukegan, Illinois, from the County of Lake in the amount of $1,060. Now, the PIN number is 08-28-211-025. May I have a motion? Motion by Alderman Hayes, second
Second.
by Alderman Florian. Roll call, please.
Question?
Question.
Thank you. Why are we buying this? What's the purpose? What's the benefit? What are we going to do with it?
This property is located between two other properties that we own, so by having this site, it gives us control of the whole frontage of that block and allows it to be offered for future development.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Roll call. Thank you. Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Alderman Hayes? Aye. Alderman Turner?
Aye.
Alderman Florian?
Aye.
Chairman Rivera?
Aye. Thank you. Item B, a resolution authorizing the mayor and the city clerk to execute an agreement with the Deegan Group to conduct a Phase 2 environmental site assessment for the city-owned property bounded by Washington Street, Sheridan Road, Water Street, and Genesee Street in the amount of $17,700 from TIF number 8. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Motion by Alderman Florian, seconded by Alderman Hayes. Any questions to this
Yes,
motion?
I do have a question. Wasn't there an environmental assessment done previously on that? I seem to recall we did that some time ago.
So this is the block where we're in the process of purchasing the bank property, which we have done Phase 1 and Phase 2 environmental assessments on as part of that purchase. There have been various Phase 1s and 2s done on pieces of this block, and there's actually been some environmental cleanup done on part of this block, but all of that was done a number of years ago. So as you know, we're hoping once we've closed on the bank to offer the entire block out to the development world. So we did a Phase 1 for this block and determined that there are still some issues that are identified. So we want to delve into those further and make sure that when we do put the property out for development proposals, that the developers are fully aware of any environmental conditions and can anticipate that in terms of laying out their development. You're welcome.
And the funds are coming from the TIF, correct?
Correct. It's a TIF eligible expense and it will come out of TIF 8. If there weren't TIF funds available, I do have money in the planning department budget, but there is money in that TIF district to cover this. And it's coming to you because even though it's under the purchasing threshold as a standalone contract, this vendor has had multiple contracts over the fiscal year with different departments. So their total aggregate
Accumulation. Okay.
exceeds the purchasing threshold number.
Cool, thanks.
Okay. May I have a roll call, please?
Alderman Hayes?
Aye.
Alderman Turner?
Aye.
Alderman Florian?
Aye.
Chairman Rivera?
Aye. Thank you. Item C, an ordinance to approve zoning calendar number 2675, a conditional use permit for a private school at 1300 West 10th Street. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Seconded.
Motion by Alderman Florian, seconded by Alderman Hayes. Any questions to this motion?
Yeah, question. I'm trying to picture 1300. What building is that?
Next to Pace, Keith.
No, it's the Iglesia Batista Emmanuel. The petitioner is here, if you'd like.
1300. I'm just trying to visualize.
Yeah, it's a church.
What's the cross street? Nearest cross street.
Dugdale?
Yeah. It's the nearest big cross street. So this
Got
is
it.
east
Okay,
of
I got it,
Lewis,
I
the
got it.
church on the north side of the street.
Got it. Thank you. Okay. Thanks.
Did you want the petitioner to comment on it at all?
No, not at all.
Would you, no? Okay. Thank you very much for being here, though. Roll call, please.
Alderman Hayes?
Aye.
Alderman Turner?
Aye.
Alderman Florian?
Aye.
Chairman Rivera?
Aye. Thank you. Item D, an ordinance to approve zoning calendar number 2679, a text amendment to the Waukegan zoning ordinance regarding the definition of contractor's yard in section 13.2. May I have a motion, please?
Make the motion.
Motion by Alderman Turner, seconded by
Alderman Hayes.
Alderman Hayes. Any questions to this motion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Hayes,
Aye.
Alderman Turner,
Aye.
Alderman Florian,
Aye.
Chairman Rivera.
Aye. Thank you. Item E, an ordinance to approve zoning calendar number 2680, a text amendment to section 8.4-4 of the Waukegan zoning ordinance to allow multi-purpose entertainment establishment as a conditional use in the B3 General Commercial District. May I have a motion on this one, please?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Alderman Hayes,
I'll make the second.
seconded by Alderman Turner. Any questions to this motion?
I don't really have any questions, but I do have a couple comments. Is that okay?
Absolutely.
Okay, so this is not only in my ward, but it's in my neighborhood. And if you all remember, not so long ago, well, maybe a year ago, on this very same property, we approved the conversion of a hotel over to a assisted living property. I think Jody probably spoke about that when she was speaking in audience time. I'm just very concerned about these two uses being in the same property. It's a building that's divided, I get that. It's kind of owned by different people, I get that, but it is on the same property. This property also, for those of you that don't remember, has a pretty bad history of, yeah, Noel, you want to?
I just wanted to make one clarification. This item is the text amendment.
Okay,
And not the conditional use permit. So
Okay.
this approval of this item is required in order to approve a conditional use permit.
I jumped
If this
the
doesn't
gun.
get approved, then the conditional use permit can't get approved, but they are two separate and
Okay.
distinct
All right,
items.
sorry.
That's okay. So this item C is the text amendment, and what it would do is add to the conditional use list in the B3 district this use, multipurpose entertainment establishment.
Okay,
Which
are-
also means that anybody else in a B3 district could apply for a conditional use permit for this.
okay. And then tell me how many places like this exist in the B3? Like, so how many, is B3 in more neighborhoods like this?
B3 is mostly, if you consider our highest density commercial districts, so the car-oriented districts, Green Bay Road, Belvedere, Washington, Grand, west of Lewis, for the most part. There are a few scattered ones elsewhere.
Like this one?
Right. But generally speaking, if you think of Green Bay Road, that's our biggest district that's primarily B3.
Okay.
I have a question.
Yes.
What is a multi-purpose entertainment establishment? I'm sure it's in the notes that you provided, but if you don't mind, just...
Yes, and I didn't bring my zoning ordinance to read you the definition. But there is one other business that got this definition. We did a text amendment to create this definition for that business, which defined itself not as a nightclub, but otherwise would have met that classification. That's a Crazy Place at 208 North Genesee. So they have this designation. So the idea being that they can have events that are open to the public that aren't necessarily about alcohol and live music, which is sort of the definition of nightclubs based on size. So, oh, you do have it up?
May I have a question.
Excuse me,
if
can
it
you
already
acknowledge to be
exists-
seated, please? Apologize for my tardiness. Would you seat me, please? Acknowledge my presence, yeah.
You're not on this committee, Alderman.
Infraction? Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Back to my question. If it already exists, why are we approving a text?
It's a different zoning district that it exists. So the definition exists, but it's in the B4 district.
Okay.
And so this would be adding the same definition to the
To the B3.
B3 district.
Gotcha.
So a Crazy Place is in a B4 district?
Yes,
and
that's
then
correct.
This is for the B3 district?
Correct. Would you like me to read you the definition?
Sure, why not? You dug it up.
She dug it up.
Kelly, thank you.
Kelly. A multipurpose entertainment establishment is an establishment that operates as a multipurpose facility, which may include A, broadcast and multimedia uses, as well as B, periodic events, which events, little I, may be private or open to the general public. Double I may be free or ticketed. Triple I may include live or recorded entertainment. Little 4 may include the provision of food or on-site consumption, and little 5 may or may not include the service of alcoholic beverages pursuant to a properly issued local liquor license. Multipurpose entertainment establishments may not include uses defined as adult entertainment in accordance with Section 14-301 of the City Code.
Is that the difference between that and a nightclub then? Is the adult entertainment?
No, adult entertainment is an entirely different thing. So nightclub, generally speaking, talks about live entertainment or live music and the service of alcohol.
If I may, good evening, council members, Kelly Ganderski, Corporation Counsel. The difference between nightclub is defined in the zoning code is just that the primary purpose of a nightclub is entertainment, whereas the multi-purpose entertainment establishment definition doesn't necessarily have that as their primary purpose.
So there's nothing that prevents them from being a nightclub, technically.
Correct. So the original application for this, staff determined that what they needed to apply for under the zoning code as it's currently written was for a nightclub category 1. Category 1 being a clarification based on size, occupancy size, as set by fire prevention. So fire code allows a certain occupancy, then that determines which category of nightclub a nightclub would fall into. When the petitioner for the conditional use permit originally petitioned to Planning and Zoning Commission in talking about the kinds of things they wanted to do, there was a lengthy discussion, and it was suggested that they should ask the Planning and Zoning Commission to hold their application and apply for a text amendment to add the multipurpose entertainment establishment to the B3 district and apply as a multipurpose entertainment establishment rather than a nightclub, if that makes sense. So here we are now at the October, did you want to add?
Yeah, I think I have an easier way to think about it. The multi-purpose definition doesn't have any general regular use. It could be a ticketed event, it could be music, it could be food, it could be alcohol. When you get into the nightclub definitions, the primary purpose, depending upon if it's category 1, 2, or 3, is either music, liquor, or food. They have an established primary purpose, where the multi-use is, I think of it more as like maybe an outdoor event that's going to have some liquor and music on occasion, but not a defined purpose every time. And the next time it could be used as some other sort of purpose.
But my question is then, there's nothing that prevents this from functioning like a nightclub.
Right, they could have entertainment.
That would be restricted by any additional conditions that you add to the conditional use permit. So in this case, my perception of the reason that the Planning and Zoning Commission suggested that multipurpose entertainment establishment might fit better for the conditional use that's later on the agenda was because some of the types of events that they talked about hosting were family events, comedy nights, paint and sip kind of functions where they might have food or alcohol, but they would be open to the public, or ticketed kinds of events, not like a banquet where it's private with a guest list, that kind of thing. So they felt that it wasn't always going to be about some kind of music and as part of the activity.
The police chief's not in here, is he?
I don't see him.
Oh, okay. I'm just concerned because we have a hard time enforcing late at night. That's when we struggle with noise ordinance and those kind of things that aren't top of the list emergency. I don't know how to say it, but
Sure.
And just adding this to other neighborhoods in the city, I don't know how that benefits us, I guess.
Should we table this?
I don't know. I'm ready to vote on it, but
And so again, there are two items. This one would be the text amendment portion, and then item G, thank you, is the conditional use permit portion. And as I mentioned, you do have the ability to add additional conditions beyond what have already been placed. So if you wanted to do more restrictive hours or other things that are site-specific, that's the purpose of having things as a conditional use. However, if you don't think it's a good fit for the B3 district at all, then you have the option of not approving the text amendment as well.
Okay, thank you.
Any further questions? Roll call, please. Oh, wait, do I have a first and a second?
I have Alderman Hayes and Alderman Turner.
Okay.
Alderman Hayes?
No.
Alderman Turner?
Yes.
Alderman Florian?
No.
Chairman Rivera?
No. Thank you. Okay, item F, an ordinance to approve zoning calendar number 2681, a text amendment to section 3.4, Development Review Board, 8.4, B3-General Commercial District, and Article 13, Rules and Definitions. Number 1, to allow I, automobile accessory stores, double I, garages for storage, repair, and servicing of motor vehicles, and triple I, garages including motor vehicle body repair, painting, and engine rebuilding, as permitted uses in the B3 General Commercial District, subject to review and conditions set by the Development Review Board. And 2, to allow I, garages for storage, repair, and servicing of motor vehicles under 7,500 square feet, double I, garages including motor vehicle body repair, painting, and engine rebuilding under 7,500 square feet as conditional uses in the B3 General Commercial District. May I have a motion, please?
Motion.
Motion by Alderman Turner,
Second.
seconded by Alderman Florian. Any questions to this motion?
Is this just cleaning up language, Noel?
It's some of that. It also changes the path for some auto repairs. So currently, all auto repair types of businesses, whether it's body work or otherwise, are conditional uses in the districts that they're allowed. What this would do, excuse me, is it would keep the smaller ones, 7,500 square feet and less, as conditional uses. And it would take all of the others that are larger than that, and instead of sending them through Planning and Zoning Commission and the City Council for approval for the placement of conditions that are pretty consistent from one to another, but then there are a few things that end up being site-specific, like landscaping. This would send them through the Development Review Board instead, which, as you know, is a staff committee of department heads from just about every department. Not IT, I guess, and maybe not HR, but most departments that deal with businesses and things are on the DRB. So that group would review the site-specific issues and be able to place conditions, but it would remove some of the burden on the Planning and Zoning Commission and on the City Council. And it would also shorten the timeline for the applicants, so they wouldn't be spending 3 months going through the process. It would be more like 4 to 6 weeks at the most. And part of that is because there have been a number of them that have been found since we've had the code and licensing officer, zoning and licensing officer, doing field work. He has noted a number of illegal operations that didn't have business licenses. So they've had to shut down completely, not have any staff on pay, not be generating income while they're going through this 3-month approval process with us. And so it still gives us the ability to impose conditions, but it removes a little bit of the burden. So it's really a question at this point of whether you want to see all of those and have them come through this level of approval, or whether you want to task the Development Review Board with that placement of conditions and approval.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions?
And those DRB meetings are public meetings, so you're always welcome to attend those as well if you're interested. They do happen during the day, though.
I have a question. I have a question.
Alderman Bolton?
So with this change, what will the changes look like for some of these operations, as far as coding, expectations? Because we get a lot of complaints about, they're parking in the area, the residents parking, and they're doing more mechanical and operations than they should.
The expectation is that the conditions would still be as strict as they are. We're writing the conditions anyway as staff, so I expect that they would be equally strict and maybe even more strict because there would be other department heads that would be more actively involved in reviewing them than there are now. And the code requirements, the zoning requirements remain the same, so they still have to perform to that level, or they risk their business licenses, and in this case, they'd risk their DRB approval as well. It would just shorten the path and take it off of your approval.
Yes, sir. Yeah, can you talk into the mic?
Even before, cars parked on both sides of Benny Avenue, east and west.
And I think the particular location that you're talking about, that is on the Planning and Zoning Commission agenda later this week. So this is a more general review of conditions. They're still going through the conditional use permit process at that location.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay. If there are no further questions, may I have a roll call, please?
Alderman Hayes,
Aye.
Alderman Turner,
Aye.
Alderman Florian,
Aye.
Chairman Rivera.
Aye, thank you. Okay, item G, an ordinance to approve zoning calendar number 2677, a conditional use permit for a multi-purpose entertainment establishment at 4555 West York House Road. May I have a first and a second, please?
First.
First by Alderman Turner, seconded by,
Excuse me, Chair, may I, since the zoning didn't pass for item number E, I don't believe the conditional use permit can be approved, so I think maybe.
this is a moot point.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, we're moving on to item H. Item H, an ordinance creating a Class C retail package sales liquor license for Devine Liquor located at 1550 Glenrock Avenue. May I have a
I'll make the motion.
motion by Alderman Turner? Second
Second, sorry.
by Alderman Florian.
Yeah, that's me.
Roll call, please.
Alderman Hayes,
Aye.
Alderman Turner,
Aye.
Alderman Florian,
Aye.
Chairman Rivera.
Aye, thank you. Okay, that concludes new business. Reports, communications, and information. There being none, we move to adjournment. May I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Seconded.
Second, motion by Alderman Turner, seconded by Alderman Hayes. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you. The meeting has ended at 5:44.